What's good, guys? How's it going?
Yo, what up, man? We're finally back.
We took a little hiatus, I had to go on vacation, go to Puerto Rico for a little bit.
Today we're gonna be dropping this law that me and Christian believe in. Um, it's called the law of equivalent exchange,
Hmm.
and essentially what it means is to get anything, you got to pay the universe a certain price to get that thing.
Hmm.
And trying to cheat the system usually yields destruction.
This law of equivalent exchange, I believe is one of the core principles of why Mercer and I kind of succeed at most things that we try to achieve, is because before we start anything, we already know that there's a price that needs to be paid.
Whoever your God is, whether it be Allah, um, whether it be God, whatever, whoever your God is, they created this system, and regardless, this system is there, and we will talk about where we got it from. Go ahead and tell them, Chris.
Okay, so when we were younger, there used to be an anime um, that we used to watch called Fullmetal Alchemist. And in this anime, the main characters were alchemists. So alchemists are able to manipulate matter and kind of shift it around, right? Now, if you know in real life, the law of matter and energy, basically, energy is not created or destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
but energy, can be in matter but it cannot be created or destroyed, right? So in the anime they use essentially magic to transmute objects, like create objects using other sources of matter. But in order to for them to create these objects, there needs to be an equivalent exchange of matter, right? But these main characters, um, essentially, they grew up with their mother, and their dad wasn't present, and their mother died of an illness. Now, they tried to figure out a way to bring their mother back to life, essentially, and kind of go around this equivalent exchange law. So, in the show, they tell you that there's no amount of cost that you could pay that equals a human life. But they try to kind of do it
They,
anyways, you know?
they just thought they was smart. They just thought,
Yeah,
some people just think sometimes you're so smart that you're dumb.
right.
Okay, so they thought they were so naive because they were so good at alchemy. They thought, we'll just do this, this, and this, and we'll bring mom back to life. They just missed the mom, really.
They try to read their way through it. They were reading theories and kind of figuring out a way where they could go around the law, but the law is still in place. And I think it parallels a lot of people in real life, especially now. Like they get stuck in this theoretical world. They go on the internet, they spend hours and hours on YouTube reading theories, but they never actually go out into the world and you know basically pay that cost. They try to theorize their way through it, and there's really no way to do that. So essentially, these characters, they go ahead and go on and attempt the process, right? They try to violate this law essentially through their theories. And what ends up happening is that in order to fulfill the the job, the process takes one of the main characters' legs, right? And it kills his brother. Now, at the point where his brother is killed, he actually gives up his arm to tie his brother's soul into an object, this suit of armor or whatever. And for the rest of the series, they're trying to get back what they lost by
Hmm.
attempting this process, essentially. Mercer and I, whenever we see a series or whenever we read something, we always try to get something realistic or worthy from it. And I think what we got from this series was that this
Yeah.
equivalent exchange law is not something that you really try to go around. It's always something that you have to kind of just accept. There's always a price to be paid for everything you're trying to do, whether it be positive or negative.
And the thing is that so I think about it as in like there's like a little grim reaper or something, and it's there, right? And it's you exchange things with the Grim Reaper for a set thing, or you cannot say the Grim Reaper. I'll say the Grim Reaper comes when you try to cheat, right? So, like, let's say for instance, there's a lot of people that like, I want to get a nice physique, or I want to get big, or whatever, right? And then they look at somebody like myself, a Christian, and they don't realize that been lifting for 13 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 13 years, right? So we have paid the universe the price to kind of look the way we look.
Mm-hmm.
But another person will say, "Fuck that! I'll do it the cheap way, and I'll get on steroids." But they
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that they're trading the health. They're trading the health, and they're trading the fucking hair. They're
Trading
trading.
their hormonal balance too, because so essentially, like Mercer said, right? So like a person will get in the gym, and let's say like they see us training together, they come to us and they ask for advice, right? We'll tell them, well, hey, if you train consistently for 2 years, you'll change your physique, um, you know, substantially, right? But they'll hear the 2 years and they'll say, I don't want to pay that price. That price is too high to pay, right?
Yeah.
So then they get on steroids. And, initially you might feel like, oh yeah, steroids was the way to go, because you'll get crazy gains that you could never get naturally. Like you progress a lot quicker, you lose body fat while gaining muscle, something that's impossible while you're natural. Stuff like that's not, natural to get. But what Mercer's saying is like you're really paying a price that you don't even realize. Like eventually your hormones your body stops producing their own hormones because you're injecting them with artificial hormones, right? So it's a price that you didn't even realize you were paying. And then let's say you get to a point where you get tired of the gym and you stop taking steroids, that hormonal balance will never be the same after a certain point. Like you're like that forever at that point. So you're stuck using steroids for the rest of your life, or on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, for the rest of your life. Something that you didn't even envision. So just like the show, you try to go around the law of equivalent exchange, you got punished for it, and now you are dealing with lifelong repercussions because of it.
Bro, that Reaper sitting back there like this. And you don't know, the funny thing about the Reaper is you don't know when he's gonna come and take what you owe him. Because you owe him whatever said thing that you owe him. And he's gonna come. Like, another example I can give people is drug dealers, right? Drug dealers, they believe they're cheating the system, making a lot of money. But in actuality, they never know when the Grim Reaper is going to come and what he's going to take. He may take,
One of your
they may
friends.
get robbed. I'll just say they get robbed. They could get robbed. They could get killed. Or, for instance, they can go to jail. And when you think about when they go to jail, let's say if they made $100,000. Let's say, for instance, they made $100,000 and they just went to jail. Now they have to buy a lawyer. And for instance, they could be going to jail for 3, 5, 7 years. And once you do the math on sitting in jail for 3, 5, 7 years, you ain't making no income while you're in jail. So when you divide that 100,000 you made by the days you're in jail, the hours, you probably make less than 50 cents per hour. And like I said, like the Reaper just come and he take. If you try to cheat, you still owe that price. And another thing we want to talk about for like people that say, well, I got something for free, or I got this for free. And what we say to that is that you pay the universe for that, not knowing that you paid the universe for that. Another thing would be like a skill translating over to another skill that you really didn't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say for instance, you were good at karate. You took karate as a kid, right? And then you went to high school and you started wrestling. Your skills will translate over to that.
Mm-hmm.
So things just translate over. So he already paid the price for this. So things just move a lot faster.
Right. So essentially, you're saying even when you think that you're violating the law, Like let's say you start a new sport and you're just initially just really good at it or whatever. It's not out of nowhere. There's skills that translated over from you learning other things that you're not taking into account.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even when you discount those things, it's still, that price is still paid, and it will always be paid. And it's gonna be paid by you, a friend, or family, or it doesn't matter what it is. Like someone's gonna pay the universe that price.
For example, family as well. So let's say you look at somebody who was born into a rich family, right? You're like, oh, he's so lucky he didn't have to pay the universe for that. He just got gifted that. Yeah, maybe he got gifted it individually, but his family at some point had to pay the price. Essentially, for example, let's say Mercer and I, like when we have children, right? When we were born, we were gifted opportunities, but not to the level that our children are going to be gifted opportunities just because we're putting in the work now. So essentially, we're sacrificing up front for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So
pay the universe.
So the law of equivalent exchange is not violated there. It's just, it's something that you're just not able to see just by looking at that generation, essentially.
Yeah. So, I want to expand on the topic that Christian said earlier, like the reason why we usually are pretty successful at things that we go after, and it's because we kind of know up front that there's a price to pay. And knowing that, we're able to realize that price and understand that that's the barrier of entry into that set thing.
So
and
that's
then on top of
basically
that,
a cost analysis that we do, and then if the cost analysis we deem it not worth it, then we don't do it. That's kind of the benefit of kind of knowing this law and taking it into account. You're able to better analyze certain paths that you might want to take.
And for instance, this is really out for like the INTJs and like the movement people in the group, because the movement people seem to believe, sometimes they forget that there's a price to pay for everything they want, and you know what, you're gonna have to, if you want something, you're gonna have to put in that energy to get it. It ain't no way around it. You can't cheat it, and I think a lot of movement people think in their head that I can cheat it or I can go around this, and you ended up, like I said, that Reaper coming in, the Reaper comes in and he takes, and you don't know what he's gonna take. Just like when in the TV show, he didn't think he was gonna lose his brother and his leg and his arm.
Yeah.
You just never know. It's Russian roulette with the Grim Reaper, man, and he's nasty.
Yeah.